What's going on? We got another Waymo series. Let me pause the music. Do you mind if I pause, Waymo? Are you okay with me pausing? Great. All right. What are we talking about today? Well, I kind of want to do a different type of video today, and I really wanted to focus on all of my failures because, you know, you go on LinkedIn, people are talking about how much money they've raised and big deals they've closed and just all this other hooey. But, you know, I've been building businesses for about a decade, and there's a lot of things I'm really bad at. I'm really bad at follow-up. I'm so bad at sales. And so, like, for example, I had a potential customer. It's like, hey, Jordan, you said you would send me the thing after a meeting. You didn't send me the thing. Like, why? What's going on? And, you know, I'm like, oh, yeah, I got distracted. I did other things. Terrible at project management. Just awful at it. Like, I couldn't project manage my way out of a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What's the process to get in, get out? I would say, like, one of the things that I found out that I'm really bad at is, like, all the inbox setup and delivery stuff. Like, I hated that. When I ran a lead generation agency, like, I just realized, like, I wasn't gonna be the best in the world at that because it changes all the time. And it's important if you're running a lead gen agency, like, getting really good at it, like Eric Nowoslowski, is like so important because your business lives or dies on deliverability, and it's always a cat and mouse game. And I didn't want to play that game. There's a lot of other things that I don't like. For example, in my business, I don't spend a lot of time doing like crazy internal workflows. So that's something that, like, a lot of agencies will do, connecting up HubSpot and pushing things through. I generally don't spend a lot of time doing that. Not because it can't be done, but just because you have to undo a lot of things. So you don't get to really build very quickly because you got to make choices about the CRM, and you got to, you know, it becomes a disaster to get this thing right because you have to basically go fix decades of poor choices. Bad at follow-up. Really, anything related to the sales process is not my skill set. And so I just, and by the way, I don't think that you have to, I think this is a, there's a great entrepreneur that talks about this, Naval Rankit. He basically says, don't try to cover for your weaknesses, double down your strengths. Like, there is no world where I get into a sauna and I'm like, oh yeah, a sauna, that'll do it for me. I think that, like, what else is, client management, I'm like not really great at here, about sort of doing a really good job at setting expectations. Actually, I'm pretty good at expectation setting. But it's really managing the client. That's like something, or like getting their team to go do stuff. Like, I don't really want to do that. I want to spend as much time as I possibly can on understanding the customer's problem, and then go building data sets. And that's where I want to stop. I want your team to go execute, etc. And so I share these things with you because I want to dispel a myth that in order, nice, Waymo, look at that, making an aggressive move. I want to share these things with you so that you can sort of realize that you don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to do everything that the client wants. Like, you just have to know your internal state really well. What do you like doing? What drives you? What makes you motivated? And the more time that you spend doing those things, the better you get at them. And the more time that you spend not doing other things, oh man, that was like the world's longest U-turn, Waymo. The more time that you spend trying to, like, chase the market, like, there's this one guy that I really like that he did a bunch of cold calling stuff, and then, like, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I see, like, he moved on, he's like, oh, I do clay stuff now, and I'm like, why? The world still needs great cold callers. Like, well, that's what the market wants. They want clay people. And I just always felt that that it just makes much more sense to align to the things that you wake up and want to do every day, that you're excited about, that you want to double down on, and then figure out what are the things that, in order for the customer to get value, they need. So I had a great call with a prospective customer today, and I wanted to negotiate kind of a custom deal with them. And I said, guys, look, let me tell you the failure state. The failure state is that nobody calls, and the other failure state is nobody measures. It's you need someone to measure and call, and I can't do that for you. I can't be on top of an SDR every day. How many calls? Not because I couldn't do that, but because I don't want to. And by setting the expectation, I have basically said, don't buy me if you can't commit to solving these problems. And that means that when I have a conversation with a prospect, or it means that they understand that I know the cases where people don't get value out of my services, and I want to be transparent about those cases ahead of time. And the reason that I want to do that is because I don't want my customer to fail. I don't want them to not see the value. And also, I know where my boundaries are. I know where it's I'm not going to go harass your sales reps. I'm just not going to do it. This is not my job. It's not what I want to be doing. I want to tell you another story here, because this is about also the way in which you communicate with prospects, so you balance the power in the sales relationship. And this is really important, because if the power is not balanced, you can't have an honest conversation with someone as a peer, as an equal. And if you're not having conversations as an equal, people are going to treat you like a pinball machine, where they can just push you anytime they want. And that's a problem. And by the same token, you don't want to come in and being you're my pinball machine, I'm going to dictate the terms here. You have to come on from equal grounds. So I made a big mistake. I mean, this isn't, talk about my weaknesses. Sometimes I will overbook myself and overcommit. And so I was traveling, and I just totally spaced out on this meeting. And I 10 minutes in, I was at lunch, and I was I'm sorry, I forgot, and I apologized. I should have done it, and I regret it. But he said, he was nice about it. He said, great, you can reschedule here. Well, he moved the meeting from 30 minutes to 15 minutes. And I was like, whatever. And then he sends me an email, and he's like, what's the agenda? What's the agenda for 15 minutes? And I said, the agenda is for me to listen. I have no agenda. And I told him about my credentials and what I've done, etc. And the purpose was that if he's going to come into a meeting with basically the baggage of my mistake, which I get, and then he wants me to do more work to basically justify the meeting, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Not because you don't have a right to be mad. Of course you have a right to be mad. But just say that, hey, Jordan, you know what? I'm so pissed off about you standing me up. I don't want to meet. I'd respect that. It's you have things, you don't want to be treated that way. I get it. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to turn a bad thing into a worse thing. And what that looks like is if I'm oh, of course, here's the meeting agenda, here's everything we're going to talk about. He expects to get a specific thing out of those 15 minutes. But good sales is listening. It's understanding. And what I just told him is if listening isn't a good enough value prop for you, if you think that talking about your problem is not a good enough agenda, well, we have nothing to talk about, because I don't have anything to sell. This person isn't even in my ICP. I was taking the meeting because a friend of mine made the introduction, and I was like, sure, I'll help out. And so I don't want to have that meeting unless this person is going to come in with an open mind, because it's hard enough to solve problems if the other person is totally on board. But it's damn near impossible if they're hostile and they want to transact in 15 minutes. Complex problems deserve complex solutions. And complex problems aren't, solved over biscuits. So, yeah, I recorded this because the glaze of entrepreneurs online is thick, and you might think that that's who they are. Do not trust LinkedIn. Do not trust that LinkedIn is who they are. Do not trust that that is their success. This is people promoting themselves, myself included. And if you want to have real conversations, meet people in person, talk to them. They will share their vulnerabilities and the things that they struggle with, and we all struggle. And so I just want you to take from this to be kind to yourself, that persistence beats most mistakes, and that you don't have to be good at everything. And actually, to be great at something, you should probably get worse at other things and abandon them and double down at the thing that you're great at. Come on, it's a yellow light. It's a yellow light. All right, well, that is all for me today. As always, I'm so grateful that you have invested 11 minutes of your life in learning about my flaws and failures and challenges, and hope that these will go a small way to making you feel better about the things that maybe you could be better at. And it's okay. It's okay that you're lean into what you love to do. Do your best to shed off what you don't want to do and become absolutely great at a very small number of things, and communicate that so that people know. And if you do that and you're persistent over a decade, everything else will just work out. I want to say one other thing, because there's sort of this notion of a binary business. There's either you're running $1 billion business or you're running some bootstrap business, and businesses take so many forms. Someone said the other day about, hey, Jordan, if you could follow up, wouldn't you make so much more money? And it's like, well, for me, I'm always optimized for MER, most enjoyable revenue. And sometimes, like, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Like, most of my customers ended recently, and I don't have a lot of work right now, and it's beautiful. And I'm about to go into a busy season, which is like weird, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not trying to get deals. I have no quota to make. I've had the best 3 months of my business, and this won't be the worst month of my business, but maybe it'll be the worst month this year. And you know what? I'm totally okay with it. I don't have anything to do because the business has done totally tremendous this year. And so I just want you to realize that growing a business is a series of ups and downs. It is a series of recognizing your own flaws and mistakes, and of pissing people off sometimes, of failing to meet expectations, of doing all you can and terrible outcomes still happen. This is not you. I mean, it could be you, but it also is the nature of the business, because you're learning. And at least growth specifically is complex. There are so many moving parts. And even if you did your job absolutely perfectly, there's 1,000 things that can prevent value from accruing. So be gentle to yourself. Recognize that your flaws, you can, for the most part, ignore. Some exceptions. You got to go sell, so you can't ignore that completely. Double down on your strengths and be kind. Just be kind to yourself. It's a rumble to build businesses, but I would argue that it's a much bigger rumble to work for someone and deal with their own internal rumblings. All right. Well, as always, grateful that you watched, and take care of yourselves. Say bye, Waymo. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for recording a video here, Jordan.